Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another portfolio weekly update. Let's open up Wealthsimple to see where we're at. So, this update is a big one. We are at a milestone because our portfolio has now hit $180,000. That is insane. All time, we are up $25,000, which is about over 16%. And this is starting, if you look here, all the way back since April 1st, when we deposited $82,000 from my previous bank account. I used a bank before moving to Wealthsimple. And as you can see on the left side, the portfolio value just keeps continuing. We have a bit of deposits into the account here and there, but ultimately where we're at today is we are at well over $20,000 um, above what we actually put in. For this month, we are up $7,874. So everything is going great. So just wanted to use this video to show you an update of what's happening, as well as introduce some swings that I've been making, and also my new Patreon. So first things first, wanted to quickly introduce my Patreon. So let me pull up my Patreon first of all. So I made a Patreon account for the first time. And what I'll be using here is those of you who join my Patreon will have access to some of my swing trades. So looking at what I posted on this December 4th, I posted about the Ethereum trade that I was making with an average of $14.52. SoFi, PayPal, Sim, also the accumulations that I was doing and at what price that I was doing it at. And every day I just give additional updates. So what else am I buying for this day? What did I sell? For example, on December 5th, I did sell Sim and I recommended a price around $29.48. And you will see on my trading journal just how some of those trades went. So Sim, which I bought on December 5th, that is a typo, sorry. I bought in at $25.56. Very, very small position. But we sold at 27.25 for myself and made a quick $13.30 profit. It wasn't really big. It wasn't from a I always look at the risk reward ratio for each swing. That one had a high risk, so I didn't put too much into it, but so still happy that I can come out with that kind of return. Also wanted to report about my Palantir trade. So I am now officially out of Palantir. Palantir has been my biggest position since the summer. I've been buying in it like crazy and selling it as time goes on because Palantir has gone through a crazy ride. There was several report earnings. We had the change and then the announcement of joining the New York Stock Exchange and then switching to NASDAQ and then the CEO selling, but also um, Palantir was also making deals with new companies as well as the Trump election win. So I just been buying and selling through this whole entire time, and finally I'm officially cashed out of Palantir at about $76. So and I did the calculation today. Since July 16th, that was the first time I started accumulating Palantir, until December 6th, yesterday, when I last did my last sell. I have made in total $1,916 US dollars on Palantir. If you convert that to Canadian dollars, just short of $3,000. So big swing that I made. Ethereum that you also saw on my Patron. I bought it at 1450, sold at 1564, and I made $201 Canadian in 4 days. So that does not count just because all the trading journal logs that I am officially recording and tallying has to be in US dollars, but I didn't want to put it there. A few other swings that I did, PayPal, that one was a $20 profit just for 1 day. PayPal moving from $85 to 88.49. And currently, you can see Toast was one of the swing trades. that I mentioned in my Patreon as well. And I'm currently in the middle of that, and I'll show you where we're at with that one. All right, so moving back to the portfolio, let's just go through everything. First of all, I wanted to quickly show you a quick update I made in my TFSA. More or less, everything looks about the same, but we did have dividends come in this week. This week I had 138 from USCL, 920 from the other account for USCL, 95 from QQCL, and $151.80 from UTES. There will be more dividends coming in. I'm expecting around $1,500 of dividends average just from the dividend investing that I'm doing. So as that's coming in, I'm just buying new positions. So with my TFSA, the main change that I made was that with some of the extra cash that I had, I bought into Walmart. And that's very uncharacteristic of me because the majority of my TFSA has been my dividend investing, where it's not mostly for, swing trading or, constant buys and sells. It's just to generate a monthly dividend. Walmart not really, fitting that category. It's uncharacteristic that I bought this, but I just felt that with the $3,000, what was it? Yeah, $2,800 that I put into it, that I just think in this current point in time, that I'd rather just put it into Walmart before I think of something else that I may want to switch into. And it's so far has been doing me good since buying it. It's up $17.25. All right, moving on to the two non-registered accounts. The first big one, obviously, you're going to see is that Palantir is no longer here. Amazon has been going crazy. If you guys remember from my previous video, I was buying in around 197, 199, and now my average is at 202, just because I did do a few buys about 204, 205. And when Amazon got to about 222, 223, I did sell about half my position in Amazon just to trim it because I was expecting a price target of 225 starting from 200, and that I hit that price target. But when I reevaluated that trade, I did think that I still wanted to keep some of my position in it because I think Amazon can keep going. So I only sold half. That way, just take some risk off the table, but also leave enough runners in case Amazon does keep going up. So I still have a remaining book value of $2,000, and it's going well so far. It's up 12.2%, and up $246.86 US dollars. So can't complain. Google also doing very well. This is currently now my biggest position since I sold out of Palantir. So I bought in about roughly 5,000 US dollars with an average of $170.83, which I'm quite happy with. And even though Google is not fully going through what I'm expecting it to hit, because the DOJ antitrust case really needs to go away for Google to hit the price target I have in mind. For me, I want Google to start hitting about 200 or maybe 225 before I start selling a massive amount. I may take a little bit off the table at in the 180s, but that would just be a very small trim. Okay, otherwise I'm probably just gonna wait for 200, but I think going to 200, the timeline is longer. So if there's something that I want to buy by trimming a bit of Google at 185 or 180, then I'll do it. But if not, I'll just keep it till it goes to 200. But yeah, just with the move up from 170.83 to 176, I'm already up $164 or 3%. So also very happy with Google. And this is not a short-term hold for me. Microsoft, this is a Mag 7 stock that I really love that I wouldn't mind for holding the rest of my life. But I just feel like in the short term, in the medium term, that it's not going to grow as much as something like Palantir, or ones you just saw just now, Amazon and Google. So I just ended up using Canadian dollars. Those of you who may not know, I am Canadian, and the US dollars that I'm buying is very precious, just because being Canadian, our Canadian dollar is just so weak, right? So I didn't want to put any US dollars into this one. So I'm bullish on Microsoft. I want to invest in it, but I just didn't want to put my US dollars in it. So I have a book value of 3,000. Currently, it's up almost 5%, and I'm up $150 Canadian dollars for this one. and I might take it off. We'll see, maybe beginning of next year. All right, Nike, a bit of a long hold for me. This one I'm not moving at all. Very small position. I am planning to add. I think this is another position that I like in the long term. So if there's a good buying opportunity, I will buy into Nike. But I'm sitting pretty at $75.91. I'm up $20.65, close to 4%. And it's not getting even close to the price targets I have for Nike. So this is something that I'm holding for the time. Nvidia. I think I did talk about Nvidia on my last video, sorry. Um, because I am bullish and I have certain price targets in mind. 150 being the first price target for Nvidia, and maybe potentially 175. With the small chance it goes to 200 in the short term. So I am accumulating on Nvidia. I did have a 135 average if you saw in my last video, but since then, Nvidia has gone up before pulling back on Friday, really from the 145s to the 141s and 42s. And I just bought a little more into Nvidia with that. So you see my average going up to 137. But I'm okay with that because I'm expecting Nvidia to go up to 150 before I sell. So currently I'm up 3.9% with this new higher, slightly higher average, with a profit of $85.62 American. All right, SoFi. This is the other big swing. I guess you can call it a swing that I'm in. I love SoFi. I think the history of SoFi is that I've been starting to buy and swing this since the nines and tens. I sold a couple of times. If you saw in previous videos, I did sell around 10 or 11, and then I got back in when it pulled back to about, maybe like 12, 13 before selling at 14. SoFi has been soaring since then. And with the new information that I have, when I saw the pullback in SoFi this week, especially when SoFi got to about 1544, like mid 15s, even actually high 14s. It did hit high 14s on Friday. I've just been buying a new position in SoFi. Reason being, I think SoFi is a good short-term hold if I want to swing it, or if, let's say, the swing opportunity never really comes, I don't mind holding it in the long term. Because I think for me, in my mind, the price target for SoFi in the next year or two is that it could double. It could go become a $30 stock by the end of 2025 or 2026. So if I just hold it, I'm okay with that too. So this is the kind of trade that I love doing. I've, you know, Another strategy was swinging, where swing these stocks. The problem with that is that yes, you can make great gains, but if the trade doesn't work out, then you've lost your whole amount of money in that penny stock because the company itself is not that great. Any stock that's a penny stock is not a good company. So if you're wrong in a big way, and I hate that, and I hate losing. Which is why now my own strategy that I do is that if I do swings, is always on good companies, companies that will be good in the long term. So SoFi is no different. I think SoFi can move up into the 18s, if things are optimistic in the next month or two, and then I might consider selling some then. But ultimately, I might hold SoFi for longer into 2025, and then maybe get out of it when it hits double the price. So I've accumulated about $2,000 worth, which is 131 shares. My average price is 815.85. I'm not the most proud of this one. I felt like I could have bought a lot more when it hit the 14s. But overall, I don't think it's a bad average. Because SoFi did move up at the end of the day on Friday yesterday. I'm still up, even though I didn't really expect it to be. So I'm up about 1% with a $22 US dollar gain. All right, Toast is the other swing trade that you saw, that I put on my Patreon. So those of you who follow my Patreon, you'll have access to these kind of swing trades that I'm in. Toast, I love the company. There was a time in the last 3 weeks that I was trying to buy Toast, but never get the price that I wanted when Toast was, I was trying to get Toast at 39.80s, 39.70s. But Toast was just really bullish, wouldn't stay below $40, and then bought a few at $40, but then just pulled back a little, and then moved up to 41, 42. And I was like, okay, maybe I might come back in when it pulls back, but it never really pulled back. And you can see that with the Toast chart here. It was, in the 30s before moving into the 42s, 43s, and now it's pulling back since December 3rd. That's a huge drop from December 3rd to December 4th. About, that's a crazy drop right there, maybe 10, 15%. So, which is why I'm back in toast again, because I think, stocks move in waves. You move up and then you pull back. And this was the pullback that I saw from toast going from 43 to 38. And now I'm back in toast with a great average, actually, 37.68. So currently with toast at 38.79, I'm already up 3%. And I might hold even longer until it hits 42, 43 again. And again, since Post is trending up, I think the next time it hits 43, it's going to move to all-time highs. Maybe it's 45, maybe it's 48. But just to be safe, I might start selling around 43 and then sell more at 45 if I wanted to. Or if I just feel really uneasy, if it's taking a little longer than I wanted, I can sell at 40 because I think it's going to be not a problem to move back to 40, given that it was at 43 just a week ago. So loving toast, one of the swing trades I'm excited about, which I will be updating probably in the next video. Visa, not much to say about Visa. Is this business as usual? I have a $3,200 investment in this one, US dollars, and is this steadily moving up? We're up 4%. I'm up $134 US dollars. We did see a bit of a pullback this week. Let's see where it was. Yeah, probably around here. If you look over here, there was a pullback to about 308. I bought one more share. That's why my average is up. If you compare my last video and my average price in Visa and that versus today, there's actually like a $1 or $2 discrepancy. I was in 297s before, now I'm the 298s, close to 299. That's because I bought one more share of Visa because I am bullish on it, and every time it dips, I'm just going to accumulate. So Visa, not much to say about that one. And finally, the only one that we're really in the red with is XSU, which is following IWM, US Small Cap Index. It was green early this week, but then it really pulled back this week, as you can see here. And now we're slightly in the red. But I'm not really worried. I think in the long term, next year or so, IWM is going to move up well. But IWM is a very fickle index, and it never moves. It's like the problematic child. It never moves when you want it to move. So I don't have any plans for this one. I might just hold long term, forget about it, or because I am seeing some new buying opportunities soon, I might consider taking some out and making some new purchases if I don't have enough money. But yeah, currently no solid plans yet. All right, so lastly, just gonna look at the margin account. So we are up all time about $70 since I started this. Which day? November 20th. And again, this is just me experimenting with the margin account. The reason why we're down so much is because of Brookfield. I bought into Brookfield and it's just been down. So, it's down $30 in this 22 shares that I've purchased in the margin account. Otherwise, we would be up, closer to about $80, $90. But that's all right. Brookfield is a long-term hold for mine. The really new ones that I got, which you saw on Patreon, is that I did get the MasterCard at the price that you saw, 32.72, and MasterCard is up. We are up 1.68%, $11. And then I just love MasterCard. I love it just as much as Visa, if not more. So I could swing this and take it off in a month or two, or I could hold long term because MasterCard is going to keep move up and up and up. So yeah, that's everything for this update. Please, if you haven't done so already, please give a like for this video. It'd definitely be really appreciated if you're doing it for this big milestone of me hitting $180,000. And subscribe if you haven't. Those of you who are interested in my Patreon, check that out. I did give a 7-day free trial for those of you who are interested to see if you're going to make that money back, right? If you make that money back, then I think definitely subscribing to my Patreon is going to be worth it because I can just give you access to much more trades, when to get in, when I'm getting out. And you can see it right in my portfolio that the majority of my trades do work out. All right, so that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.